Oh my God.
Did you post it?
I did not.
See, there's hope for you yet. You didn't post everything of your day.
This is my avocado.
Oh, you're right.
Isn't it amazing?
That is good.
Thank you.
That is very perfect and perfectly ripe.
I was proud of it.
You should be.
Go. No, you're about an hour from that. Let's go in 3 minutes or 2 minutes. Let's go in a minute. Yeah. Do, 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 do.
Da, da. Da, da.
You know Jay Trebek.
Yeah.
I got a text message from him and the girl I helped train over the last 10 years. Yep.
That is wild.
Here, look at it. So,
You know, those things aren't that heavy.
okay. Hi, everybody from the Foxtown Weather Center. Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard here. Look, it is 1:45, 1:46 in the morning. Promised that we'd stay over by, and it bears saying that meteorologist Erica Mrazek and meteorologist Cody Matz are with me in the Foxtown Weather Center. So yes, it is a long night for Erica and myself and an early morning for Cody. Here's why. The latest from the Storm Prediction Center, there it is, a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 a.m., and it does include the Twin Cities Metro. We're watching this line of storms that has been marching off to the northeast from parts of Nebraska, the better part of the last 6 hours, and all along this line, we have a ribbon of severe thunderstorm warnings. Important to also note that along this line, we have had, or at least in the last hour, we have had storm reports in Lackawanna County, wind gust at 81 miles per hour. So don't sleep on these just because they're severe thunderstorm warnings. I think the one thing you're also going to find is the linear nature of these storms. So you've got a line, it's advancing here to the northeast. Convective in nature. Look at lightning tracker pinging away as these storms just start to work into parts of southwestern Kandiyohi County. So Pope and Stevens, severe thunderstorm warnings until 2:30. Chippewa and Swift, you're there until 2 a.m. This large block here that includes Kandiyohi County, that's the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Chippewa, Kandiyohi, Renville, and Swift. As you look at this particular warning, you get a pretty good sense that it does have almost a curvature here off to the north and to the east. Gives you a really good indication that really what we're talking about are linear based storms. I won't rule out some large hail. Most of the charts, the better part of the day, pointing to this point of the evening, near 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. for the possibility. That's all it is. The possibility of, say, 2 3/4 inch size hail, winds at 60 to 80 miles per hour, and some very brief heavy rains bringing some localized flooding, or at least the possibility of all of that together. And look, we're barely in to the severe thunderstorm watch box. You look down here just as we turn the Minnesota River Valley, and I know you're looking at it, you're going, I can't see the Minnesota River Valley. There's the Minnesota River Valley running all the way down into Mankato. There's where it bends up and works adjacent to Highway 169 all the way into the Southwest Metro. Mankato in the thunder and the lightning right now, no warnings, but the thunder and the lightning stretches back along this very convective line all the way back to Grant, Stevens, Pope, and Douglas County. So that's the four right there, all along the river valley, and the convective nature of these storms and the very strong winds. Obviously, the reason we're on the air right now. Over the last 3 hours, there's the new watch, and we're actually starting to see a bunch of new cells pop. Now, you've probably heard me say this before, and when Cody and I talk a lot on the air, when you look at this line of storms, and there it is, we're going to look here. So I want you to think about this moving off to the north. Everywhere here on my right-hand side, we call these right movers. So everything down to this side of this line is going to start to peel off slowly. As it peels off slowly, it's going to roll into largely undisturbed air that is so very rich in all of our storm ingredients. The line will also stay intact and also push here. So I-94 all along here from Candy, Ojai, Meeker, McLeod County, all the way down into Sibley County, then Carver and Scott County, and back up to Wright and parts of Stearns County, and then back up to Grant, Pope, Stevens, and Douglas counties. Those are all the areas right here under the weather gun all over the next, say, 90 minutes. So the storms are moving. They have a decent forward clip, plus 30 miles per hour. That's forward speed. I mentioned Lacaparo County also picking up the severe thunderstorm wind gust at over 80 miles per hour. That's in the last 30 minutes. So Cody Matz has joined us. I would expect arrival in the metro here. Now, this is always rule of thumb when we look at this. We're talking about these rolling about 30 plus miles per hour, rolling across a county, probably an hour. Thinking about into the metro here as we work through about between 3 and 4 a.m. So metro, right now you are under the weather gun. And I know Danny is in master control with us. Danny, I don't know if you got a chance to set up microphones for Cody. I think we're good right now. Just something to think about here as we work through the next, 60 to 90 minutes. If I've never mentioned this lately, I try to every once in a while. We have some of the greatest technical staff behind the scenes, and they are also here with us. I think Jim Rich is also wandering around the building. He's looking for a card game. Isn't that right, Erica? Yeah, shit. Erica's napping, but that's okay. This line will continue to grow off to the north, but more importantly, these fresh cells here that are really just starting to move right now. So I'm going to just slide the map off to the south. Everything from Mankato stretching all the way across I-90. Those cells are all new here in the last 15 minutes, adding to everything else that will continue to move. And when we think about a big linear storm like this, and we start to move it out, this entire area here will continue to roll up the Minnesota River Valley. So Jordan, St. Peter, all the way here into, say, Shakopee, those are all next in line. In terms of storm dynamics, and there are plenty, the wind has been definitely not our friend so far with any of these storms as they continue to roll. So let's talk about the colors you see on the map here. So you begin to see the white. I also have some VIL here, some vertically integrated liquid, talking about how the storms create an updraft to keep the super cooled raindrops suspended in the storm so that they freeze and try and drop, freeze, try and drop, freeze, try and drop, and that's how hail, and that's how hail is born. That's how hail is created. I would look here for the strongest winds to be working in conjunction with the line of storms that is also very real here as we move forward in time. Cody, I know you just joined us and you're not mic'd up, but there's not a lot with these storms. I know you got a lot going, so.
No, there's not a lot.
There's not a lot. These are big wind makers. Like I said, don't sleep on these. We're talking winds at, say, 60 to 80 miles per hour. We are talking the possibility of some very large hail. And so the worst part about these storms, and I mentioned this earlier, the timing of these storms stinks. There's no other way to put it. Because, and I mentioned this on the late night news. I said, well, most people will be in bed. There's always one person that will email in, well, I'm not in bed, I'm working. And I know we're talking about most people. Other than Erica, Cody, myself, Danny in Master Control, and Jim Rich. Every time I say his name, I expect him to come walking in the studio. So, yeah, there's 5 or 6 of us here in the station making sure that you know. So, that line of storms is here and it bends all the way down. Candy, Ojai County, you're almost fully involved right now. Sibley County, the western portion of Sibley County, in the strongest portion of the storms, down into Blue Earth County, and now stretching over towards, say, Albert Lee. So soon, Owatonna and Faribault. From there, it is all about the Twin Cities Metro as we head closer to 3 a.m. So I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to regroup here. I've broken into programming, brought you up to date. The key here is to stay sky aware. And if you're up, hang with us and maybe get on the phone. And so you live in Sibley County, but you got some cousins that live in Meeker County and some cousins that live in Carver and Scott County. Give them a call. Let them know the big storms are rolling. Ian's got his sleeves rolled up. Cody and Erica are here. We're eating pizza, and we're hanging with you until these storms are finished. So I'm going to send you back to live programming, and we'll be back as these storms make an approach toward the Twin Cities Metro, edging closer to 3 a.m. But for now, Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard. We'll talk to you in a bit. Thank you. Cody's just putting on gobs of makeup.
Gobs. Yep, that's
those will stay where they are then. Hi, everybody, from the Fox 9 Weather Center, Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard, along with meteorologist Cody Matz in the Weather Center. It's about to be a bumpy ride, and not just metro specific. Look at this line here over the last 6 hours making an approach, but here all along 94 and then scooting up to areas just off to the east-northeast of Fargo. A new severe thunderstorm watch has been issued here, including, call it Mille Lacs, Brainerd, all the way to the Canadian border and then over towards St. Louis County, including Duluth, and then stretching back down to the existing severe thunderstorm watch box. That's here, includes the Twin Cities Metro, and that's going to be around a while. That is in place, or at least valid, until 7 a.m. Now let's talk about this line as it makes an approach. Doesn't take much to look and see the lightning tracker is pinging all along this line. Plenty of wind reports from down near Mankato, stretching all the way up to parts of Grant, Pope, Stevens, and Douglas counties, even toward Alexandria. Wind gusts between 40 and 70 plus miles per hour. The one thing we haven't had yet, or any large hail size reports. But look, I just want to stop, take away lightning tracker so you can see where the storms are, and talk about the storms and the severe thunderstorm warnings well to the north. So Grant and Otter Tail counties in a severe thunderstorm warning here until 3:15. There you see it, right, say Fergus Falls, stretching over toward almost Brainerd, and then down, really running right along 94. Once you get down to this storm, right in between Fergus Falls and Brainerd, there is lightning tracker. And I tell you, this entire area right here is really lit up. So 71 stretching all the way to 10, 94 all the way back down into parts of Stearns County, even coming through St. Cloud right now. Now, the storms are not on you yet, St. Cloud, but I guarantee you, if you look out the door and you look west or southwest, you're going to get one heck of a light show. Look, there's Wilmer, Candy, Ojai County now just off to the south. Sibley County's gone through the storms one cycle. Sibley County about to get another cycle, in particular here off toward northeastern Sibley County, and then stretching down. So Wright County, you're there. Almost into Hennepin County for Carver, Scott counties, working all the way over to Anoka, and then stretching down into Rice and Steele. I mean, this is a massive length of storm. Lightning tracker still pinging away, and when we talk about Twin Cities Metro proper, we're pretty much there. I mean, look, Buffalo, Wright County, stretching all the way back to Hutchinson, and now down toward areas like Belle Plaine, Shakopee, Chanhassen for my wife who's in Eden Prairie, who's probably going to try calling my phone any moment. Yes. All of us in the metro are about to get a rude awakening. Now, look, if you're in Lakeville or Belle Plaine or you're over in Buffalo and the house is shaking, just know these are strong, not severe. And I think that's an important point, because you'll turn on the TV and you're like, why is he in there? Why is Cody there if these aren't severe? These are strong enough with wind gusts of 40 to 70 miles per hour that we think they're important to talk about. And in particular, the time. And I'm the first person to tell you that right now at 2:47 in the morning, the timing of these storms stinks. There's no other way to say it, as lightning trackers pinging away and really picking up. Cody, and I know Cody's busy in the Weather Center right now, but when you go from, say, Shakopee over to Lakeville and then stretch it down here off toward Prior Lake, lightning tracker is ferocious right now.
Yeah, it very much is. And I was actually just kind of looking at the Lakeville storms and some in portions of Scott County. We've gotten reports from the Elko Newmarket, or just south of Elko Newmarket, of about 50 mile an hour gusts. That's as you head towards Lonsdale as well. And it's these little tiny portions of this line that and kind of embedded in this. So I'm actually going to switch this over to Weather 2 real briefly and just show you a couple things on radar here. So if you look across the center portion of the screen, you got Lakeville, you got Elko Newmarket, you have the New Prague area, and it's these little blobs, these little white blobs. Yeah. Those are going to be the ones that are going to have the gusty breezes. Actually just saw a report west of Mount Watertown, 52 mile an hour gust, and it was in one of these like little white blobs as they kind of hang on to some of the gusty winds and throw them down to ground level.
So yeah, I mean, So there is 35. Stretch all the way over to 169. Now here you're coming down the Minnesota River Valley. So Belle Plaine, you're up toward Shakopee. Shakopee, you're back over toward Burnsville and Lakeville. From Newmarket all the way here into New Prague, this is some very heavy rain. And lightning tracker, I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you're in New Prague, you'll probably roll over, turn on Fox 9 and go, oh, well, thank goodness. Cody and Ian are there. Oh, God
Did they
bless
say it
them.
just like that, too?
Yeah, well, that's the. I'm pretty sure that's a Lonsdale accent.
That could be.
Not sure about New Prague, but yeah, you do get the idea. Some very big rain. Did you hear that ping there?
Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning. This is for western Minnesota, Morrison and Todd County now.
Okay, so these are the counties that are at the very northern extent of this line. So you head up here from Morrison and Todd, back over toward Fargo, and then stretch all the way up down almost as far north as Roseau. I will tell you this, parts of Manitoba, Canada, and Cody, you and I were talking earlier tonight. I was up doing the evening news. You were going to bed.
Yeah.
We're both here.
Yes.
But I don't know if you saw the softball hail reports from Winnipeg.
I did not.
Oh man, I mean these are massive hailstones, and we haven't had that yet. Although the charts were really pointing to the chance of some very large hail for us. Instead, there's the line. It is now advancing in toward the Twin Cities greater metro. Thunder, lightning, some vivid lightning outside the window, flashing through the blinds as you wake up and roll over and clip on Fox 9. So Grant, Otter Tail, severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15. Important to note that any of the threats right now, and there really is one, it is very strong, possibly damaging winds in the severe thunderstorm warnings with winds at 70 plus miles per hour. So Clearwater, Pennington, Polk, Red Lake, those are all well off to the north and to the northwest areas, edging toward like Roseau and almost to the Canadian border. So really I mean, look at this when I put the severe thunderstorm watches back on the map. Everything lights up for Otter Tail and Clearwater, Pennington, Polk, Red Lake.
That's a mess.
Yeah, slide all the way back down here. I know there's one thing, and we just talked about this, Cody.
Yeah.
Notice how this area of storms is starting to look more convective.
It is.
Starting to stretch out. It's starting to get almost a shape. It started as like an HP supercell at the southern extent of this line. I think what we're going to see is this line stretch out, and I think we're going to end up with more of a bow that's going to work here.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that as well.
Yeah. Once you catch the HP supercell, then it begins to stretch. Now we're starting to catch the bow. Very convective in nature. And by the way, this would clip the southern Twin Cities Metro. For
Easily.
the West Twin Cities Metro right now, it is one big, booming, bright, loud thunderstorm, but nothing serious. This is not a severe thunderstorm. These are strong. Wind gusts, I'll grant you 40, possibly 50 miles per hour, but it is here off to the south of the metro that I really want to concentrate on for now. I mean, look at from Waconia all the way down. This is Eden Prairie and Shakopee, stretching over to the 35 split. Lakeville. Just
got a report of a 46-mile-an-hour wind gust in Lonsdale. So not severe, but it's going to pack a punch.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I always tell people say, oh, 40, 50 mile per hour winds aren't bad. When you wake up in the morning and your shed is displaced and there's a fence down and a couple of trees on their side, you're like, oh, maybe it is kind of bad.
Maybe it was kind of bad.
So Waconia, back over to Hutchinson, not severe for you. From Waconia down into Lakeville, stretching down 35, Faribault and Owatonna, not severe for you. Even Elko Newmarket, not severe, but strong and convective. My gosh, look at this. So Shakopee, all the way back to Norwood, Young America, down toward Belle Plaine. Lightning tracker pinging away so much that it's even hard or difficult at times to see the reflectivity. Behind the reflectivity is all
I'm going to switch
about
us
rain.
over to our tower cam in Eden Prairie real fast, and you'll see it outside. So should get some pretty good lightning show.
It's a good light show.
Yeah.
By the way, I hope people realize usually, I mean, we're with Donna right now in master control. That's it.
Yeah, there's three of us.
There's three of us. So Cody's standing up, going and pushing buttons behind the wall, and that, I mean, that's what happens here at 2:53 in the morning. we think it's important enough when you got these flashes moving into the metro that, there's been so much talk about severe weather possibilities lately that now that these storms are here, Cody and I, we're just gonna hang out with you as we get through here.
Yeah, you really want to highlight the lightning on your radar, don't you? That's some big lightning.
Go big or go home.
That's fair.
Is what Dad always said, Cody. Yeah, if you want to scale them down, feel free. You can knock them off right now if you want.
Let's just scale them back, shall we?
Well, let's watch and wait. You're doing a heck.
I'll be all dramatic.
Doing a heck. Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's a little better.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
It's a little small, but it's
Yeah.
fine. Shock. Don't say it. Shocked me all the way down to Belle Plaine and then back here, and really. See that flashing? Is that you?
That was not
right
me.
here at the 35 split. So here's
I think
35W.
our tower actually just got struck by lightning.
Our tower did?
I think so. I think that's what that flash was.
It was a really good flash. I mean,
It was.
So the one thing we had the luxury of here at the station, we have a massive generator. It could have been just a switch between.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. All right. So lightning tracker pinging away. Some decent. See the white right there? That white that you begin to pick up. Now Cody was talking about this. These little tiny highest levels of radar interception of these hydrometeors. Fancy, right? Fancy word for raindrops or hail or whatever you want to call it. So all of that mess in here, where we find the white, those would be 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of rain per hour if we were to stay just in that spot and not move. But this is also a realization of those very strong winds coming down to ground level. Lightning tracker, strong winds, very heavy rain, all knocking on the doorstep here. The South Metro. I want to move you up here off to the North Metro and give you a better idea here. So,
Yeah, and focus more on basically Montrose to Buffalo, getting some almost 50-mile-an-hour gusts now.
So Montrose to Buffalo, okay. So when you're looking at this, and I think what we'll see here, so even from Becker, but as you bend down, back down toward Watertown, I think what we're going to end up seeing here, Cody, and more often than not, is strong inbound winds. So yeah, I mean, you can see the differentiation here. So green are the winds moving here off to the north and to the northeast, and the red are trying to work back. But this is all one wind. All one wind movement working here off to the north end to the northeast. And this is important here. Forward storm motion, which is entirely different than the winds contained within the storm. Forward storm motion has been anywhere between 30 and 40 miles per hour. Now, if you think about that, that's rule of thumb about a county an hour in terms of movement. We were just looking up here in parts of Wright County. I want to slide you a little bit further along this line because this line extends for a decent amount here. St. Cloud, you're finally now in the storm. Lightning tracker pinging away all along 94 there, Sauk Center. Take you up to Long Prairie. Now move you all the way back down. Look at this line. It just stretches all the way back into the Northwest Metro. Wright County. Now you look here, parts of Hennepin County. My friend Alex in Orono, who always complains that he doesn't get the storm. Boom. Good. I tried calling him earlier and say, Alex, you're going to get the storm tonight. Didn't pick up. So now tomorrow, we got a storm. Yeah, I was on the air. So Orono and most of Hennepin County. Now here we are in Eden Prairie. I think you're right. I think there was a strike close to the station.
Yeah.
When we had that glittery on and off sort of effect right there. At this point, I'm going to hazard a guess, Cody.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Ready for this? Seen that? Have you seen that Oz Perlman dude?
Yes.
He's the mind reader online.
Oh yeah.
He's a mentalist. I'm gonna do it. You ready to conjure this up? Right now, at my house, there is a dog and 2 cats in my bed. Lock it in. That's exactly what's going on because lightning striker is pinging away. And in terms of the southwest and west metro, I think you can easily take it to the bank. We're talking winds at 40 plus miles per hour. The kind of thing that's going to knock over your garbage cans or shift a shed.
Yeah, I'm going to actually take you to a traffic camera here in a second. I'm just working on getting it put in place here, and I'm going to roll it over. This is 35. Oh, this is actually my neck of the woods in Highway 13 in Burnsville, probably the strongest part of the storm.
Oh, yeah.
And it is just absolutely unleashing. But that's the thing. The forward speed of these storms, the movement forward is 40 to 50 miles an hour. So it doesn't last long, but it is a lot.
It's like, yeah, this is not a heavyweight bout the last 12 rounds.
No.
These are the lightweights who come and they just swing and it goes 3 rounds and everyone's done.
Yeah.
It is fast and it is a good heart. Look at the windswept rain there. Not many people on the roads.
That's probably good. I mean, it helps that it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that what time it is? Can't wait for tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute.
It's today.
Tomorrow is today.
Yep.
It's your today, but right now in my life, this would be my tomorrow from yesterday.
Wow.
What we did there?
That was profound.
There's the loop. For any old timers, people that have lived in and around the Twin Cities for a long time, the loop here is 494 and 694 because for many, many years, contained within that loop was the Twin Cities Metro. I just heard that ping. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
Yeah, that's the continued special weather statement for a lot of the area. Anoka, Benton, Hennepin, Isanti, Kanabec, Mille Lacs, Morrison, Sherburne, Wright counties all till 4 a.m.
Okay, so a special weather statement. You know, in the world of weather, we go from a warning down to a watch, and really a special weather statement is kind of a very small localized watch. In other words, it's county based. So when you talk about it from Anoka stretching all the way through Hennepin and then up this line along 94, you'll notice there are no flashing beams, no beacons saying there's a warning in this particular location. Instead, what we end up with is what's called a special weather statement. A special weather statement is like a hey, you know, it's kind of like your parents saying, don't touch the stove, you'll burn yourself. I mean, that's a special weather statement. A special weather statement says these storms are strong, they're not severe, but they are worth taking note of. That's why Cody and I are on the air just after 3 a.m. Worth taking note of here in parts of Wright County, parts of Hennepin County, parts of Carver and Scott County, stretching all the way down to a good portion here of Anoka County and Goodhue County, now taking a good hold here of the west and southwest Twin Cities Metro. Are they severe storms? Rhetorical question. They're not. We've been saying that for the last 15 minutes. Not severe storms. Are they strong enough that you're probably going to get jolted out of bed, roll over and go, oh, thank goodness Ian is here. Cody's here too, by the way, in case you just rolled over and turned us on. That's why we're on the air. So much talk about the possibility of severe weather overnight. We didn't want these storms to roll through and let you and just sort of leave you hanging. So we're going to stay here and we're going to keep you company and help you all stay sky aware for your particular location. And right now you'll see with radar zeroed in, if you will, on the greater Twin Cities Metro, Hennepin County, Wright County, Stearns County, stretching all the way down to Meeker and McLeod counties, back over to Carver, Scott County, Dakota County, and Goodhue County. This is where the storms are in terms of the Twin Cities Metro. Let's zoom you out. There's lightning tracker. That's it's a decent amount of lightning when you start to pick up this thing. There's a better idea. Over the last 6 hours, the large yellow boxes, severe thunderstorm watches for the Metro. This watch here is in place until 7 a.m. The watch to the north, I believe, is also 7 a.m. as these storms continue to move. This cluster of storms here has been incredibly powerful. In the last hour, 90 minutes, the line of storms that continues here to advance toward the Metro, it is rambunctious as it rolls through the Metro. The winds will howl 40 plus miles per hour. The rain will be very heavy at times. I think we're only talking about very small hail reports. But all in all, thunder and lightning are going to jolt you up in a big way. So don't get up too fast. You make waves in the waterbed, and then there's a big mess.
Waterbed?
You know anybody who still has
What
one?
is this, 1998?
That's about right.
Yeah.
I remember we had to turn up the waterbed heater during the winter, so the water was warm.
That I'm going to leave my comments to myself.
People, okay, Which one of us is over 60? Right here. Okay, so let's take you to the north. Otter Tail still in a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15.
And that Brainerd Lakes area one is new, just FYI.
That's the brand new one?
That's the new one,
Okay.
yeah.
Hang on, I'm going to take you there. Watch. The Brainerd Lakes one is new. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, you get a load of this here, Cody. Cabin Country, about to get rocked. From Bemidji south to Brainerd. Mille Lacs, you're not there, but Crow Wing County is definitely in this with this new severe thunderstorm warning. If I move you a little more, it'll take care of those and push them off the map. No, it won't. It'll get you right there. So there it is for Cass and Crow Wing County until 4 a.m. Here's the storms that are just to the east of Grand Forks. So Clearwater, Pennington, Polk, and Red Lake counties until 3:45. So there's still plenty going on as these storms advance. I got to tell you.
Hey, you want me? I'm going to show you a little bit different view.
Yeah.
So I kind of zoomed
they don't
out
look great.
and put some and put the motion on, and then put the storm reports on, and you can kind of see where like the jet of winds are. So all the little dots that appear are basically storm reports.
Those are wind storm reports.
Wind storm reports. So 58 miles an hour or stronger. We've seen up to 74 so far, but it's generally across western and then going through northern Minnesota. While they're packing a punch, the metro actually just got a 50 mile an hour gust outside of Albertville. But most of the severe weather is off to the northwest of the metro.
Look at that. There's one south of Wilmer. Everything else is contained right here.
Yeah.
And it's just working up in this very narrow corridor. That's great. That's really cool, Cody.
Yeah, and
thank you.
It's rocking.
So those are all your 58 plus mile per hour storm reports. Of course, for any of you weather geeks out there, you would know that 58 is really the number that sparks a severe thunderstorm warning. As you look at the warnings that are in place right now.
And you really want some inside baseball, and you're like, why is it 58 and not 60? It's because we do it by knots. So 58 miles an hour is actually 50 knots. So it is even, but it's odd.
Everyone was thinking we were cool for about a minute.
No,
and
no
then
one
you
thinks
just
we're
went
cool.
and totally geeked out.
Absolutely no one thinks we're cool at all. At all whatsoever.
Okay, so Sauk Center just picked up 47 mile per hour wind gusts, so there's still plenty going on out here.
Yeah, that St. Michael Albertville area got a 50. We're going, so Wright County kind of getting the brunt of the winds at the moment. Haven't seen a lot. Oh, wait, just got a new report.
What you got?
Western Bloomington, so just outside of Anderson Lakes, 46 mile an hour gust. So again, not severe, but packing a punch.
Yeah, and like I said, and Cody knows this as much as anybody. When you get a lot of talk for days before any type of weather event, and that weather event just happens to be through the overnight when most folks, not everybody, but most folks are in bed, and the house shakes with a big boom of lightning. We want to be the voice of reason here, so that when you turn over and you roll and you hit your remote for your TV and you go, oh, they're on. But is this a severe thunderstorm that's rolling through the metro? It is not reaching those parameters. But look at the line here that is now fully into Wright County and parts of Stearns and Sherburne County, most of Hennepin County, and then stretching here 94 through the metro. So the downtowns of Minneapolis to St. Paul and areas south, you are absolutely in it here as we move, and lightning tracker continues to be super big here for me. But look, Eden Prairie's in the rain all the way up to Orono, Minnetonka, Plymouth, Maple Grove, over toward Independence. So that gets you out of Hennepin County, Buffalo, Wright County, all the way up to Stearns County and St. Cloud, also in the storms.
There may be even some small hail in some of this too.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of here. I'm going to do this, Cody. I want to take a slice as this storm rolls through the metro and see if we can find any type of a core.
Sheared off to the northeast. It is literally getting shoved to the northeast.
So here's the entire metro, and most of it topping out there. You see behind my head, if I move, at around 30,000 feet. Not any great decent cores here. There is one there. Right when you just start to, so this is south of St. Paul. That's a pretty decent core. You can hear the thunder popping here at the Twin Cities.
I think that's the
Broadcast
storm that
Center.
actually probably pushed through Lakeville. So this is a little bit of a delayed report. This is not currently happening, but a few minutes ago, northeast side of Lakeville, so southeast Apple Valley, give or take, a 49-mile-an-hour wind gust. It's probably with that little overshooting top right there.
So all of those people, all of us, we're in Eden Prairie right now, feeling the effects, and probably most likely hearing the effects.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that jars you out of bed because earlier, oh yeah, we're flashing again.
Yeah.
Earlier, that knocked off some of the TVs here. Earlier tonight, we were talking about, hey, this could happen overnight, and if it does, we want you to tune us in. Well, that's exactly what we're doing. There are no severe thunderstorm warnings here for the metro or NT counties that are adjacent to the metro. All of the warnings are in a cluster here, well to the north. When you look toward Brainerd and Bemidji, Crow Wing County, nudging all the way up here to Mille Lacs, those are all severe thunderstorm warnings. The severe thunderstorm watch, I'm going to turn off the watch here so I can...
So you can actually see something else?
Yeah. The watches are they're a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah, looks like we got a 54-mile-an-hour wind gust reported a few minutes ago between Avon and Albany in Stearns County, so just to the west of St. Cloud. So it's still rocking in spots. Have some 40 to 50-mile-an-hour gusts continuing kind of in Wright County. So heads up Elk River area. That same cell is kind of headed to your neck of the woods and will eventually push through kind of Otsego, Elk River, and then west of St. Francis area. And then that secondary kind of spot appears to be basically pushing right through southern sections of Minneapolis.
Ooh, we're
so
rocking right now.
South Minneapolis, 38-mile-an-hour gust just south of downtown Minneapolis. We've had a 49-mile-an-hour gust southeast side of Apple Valley. That particular cell is actually moving through eastern Egan and Inver Grove Heights at the moment. And then there's a pretty solid line right over MSP Airport at the moment. I'm going to look at some gusts here in the next couple of seconds and see if I can find some better gusts. Right now, 22 is what I'm showing.
Did
but
you see that Buffalo wind gusts at 49, 50 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Wow, these live cams are super intense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning, and it's going to blow through fast. I mean, it's in each individual location, maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
I was going to say 10 minutes.
Yeah.
For sure, 10 minutes. Yeah, all these special weather statements. Again, it bears repeating. If you're in the metro and you're just joining us, I want to give you a little assurance here that this is a line of big, booming thunderstorms, not a line of severe thunderstorms, no matter how loud it gets at your house or how vivid the lightning is coming through the blinds. The winds will gust here. 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts as this line rolls through the metro. You see lightning tracker pinging away. But in terms of the strongest storms, they are here, just off to the north. So Morrison and Todd counties until 3:30. So that's another 18 minutes. Otter Tail County still in a warning for about another 4 minutes. And I'll shift you just a little further so you can see from Brainerd all the way to Bemidji, Beckard, Hubbard, Mahnomen, and Wadena. All until 4 a.m. with that Otter Tail still until 3:15. The one thing you're going to notice here are wind gusts that are higher than what we're finding in the metro. In the warned storms, wind gusts are 60 plus miles per hour. And the one thing we really haven't seen yet, Cody, is any hail reports. And if I'm being honest with you, I'm floored.
I am too. Yeah, I mean, there may be some tiny hail in some cases. I just wanted to pass this along more for you, Ian, than anyone else. So we did actually get an ASOS report. It's Automated Surface Observing Station at MSP Airport. So it's all automated. There's no readout. It did report a 61-mile-an-hour gust. However, it does have a maintenance indicator on it.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
I think that's wrong, but just kind of wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, the maintenance indicator is basically like your gas light going on.
Yeah.
Saying, something might not be right here. Or more appropriately, your oil light has on, and there might be something on the fritz.
Yeah, you gotta check it.
Yeah, 60 mile per hour wind gust at the airport would automatically bring along a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, correct, which is why we don't have the warnings, because the National Weather Service is going, I don't think that's right.
No, the check oil light's on there. So
Yeah.
Look at this, and you know, Cody, you showed that the jam cam earlier. I mean, it was Lakeville, and the rain was sideways. We had winds at probably 40 miles per hour. The vivid lightning. So this is a big booming, nasty storm in quotation marks, but, and there's a big but here, but this is not a severe thunderstorm. This line as it collapses through the metro is not a severe thunderstorm. I know that doesn't make it any easier for my wife with a dog and 2 cats in the bed, or you know, maybe you're sitting at home with a couple of children and they want to go into the basement, or maybe you're saying, maybe, honey, should we go to the basement? You know, at this point, this isn't that type of a storm.
I mean,
it's rolling
you
through.
can if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. Having the kids in bed are always fun. You wake up and their feet are in your face. You're like, what's going on here? But that does give you a really good indication. I'm going to slice it one more time. Do you got a camera?
Yeah. You
Okay,
want
I'll wait-
to
yeah, I'll wait
see
for you to
just
do the
south of downtown Minneapolis. So yeah, lots of thunder, lightning, lots of rain, getting about 4 to 5 tenths, so almost a half inch of rain in 10 or 15 minutes.
You know, the wrap earlier, one of our forecast models had us at 9/10 in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we could be there.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
But yeah, South Minneapolis, in downtown Minneapolis, certainly getting some rain and lots of lightning.
Slice through this storm. And I'm going to show you how when we slice, we can move this slice along. So North Metro, low top storms, 10 to 20,000 feet. Come back down here toward where we go from Minneapolis all the way to St. Paul. We're starting to see these top out more at 35,000 feet, and then all the way down into the Southeast Metro. This would be the better and it's still not great, a better representation of a rise in the storm and somewhat of a core, maybe a little core here. It's just not, in terms of meteorologically, it's not overly impressive on radar. If there is a decent core, it is here once we stretch our way out toward, wow, we're way southeast of Minneapolis at this point. We're starting to work into parts of Goodhue County, approaching the Mississippi River Valley. So don't want to forget the warnings that are still in place here, well off to the north. So Cass and Crow Wing counties, stretching all the way back to Morrison and Todd counties, all into, say, 3:30 all the way to 4 a.m. for these severe thunderstorm warnings, winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, thunder and lightning, obviously a big part of everything that is happening with this storm. But it's precisely what I was mentioning during the news at 5, at 6, at 9, and 10 last night. That's what's going to wake you up. That's what's going to make you either reach for the Fox 9 weather app or reach for your remote control while you're in bed, or maybe it's a combination of both. Here's the weather app. Here's the remote control. Nothing severe for you.
Just got a 51 mile an hour wind gust, St. Cloud Airport.
All right. So yeah, is that now?
That is in the last 5 minutes.
Oh wow. So it's just post after the rain arrives. It's just after.
It kind of appears that way. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you and I would expect the strongest winds to be here, just out in front. Let's do this. Let's scope it. And really try and find exactly what we're looking for. Well, no, I guess, you know, when you look at it, we're talking about St. Cloud right about here.
Well, yes, St. Cloud Airport, so it's actually east of St. Cloud City.
Yeah, so we're up at about here.
Yeah, or even
yeah,
farther.
I mean, so yeah, I guess that's about right. So that the strongest winds, and for anyone asking what Cody and I are talking about, don't want to get you a lot. See that green right there. Well, those are the strongest winds that are cycling here, just coming across 94. Cody just mentioned 50 plus mile per hour wind gust. The airport in St. Cloud. If I were to take the scope and move it a little further here to the south, I wonder how we're doing with the winds coming through the greater Twin Cities metro, and they're really disorganized, to say the least.
Yeah, it's. I think it's actually the storms are actually kind of outrunning the energy. They're outrunning the front, which would actually pose the most wind risk, which is why we're actually seeing the winds kind of post the heaviest rain.
Yeah, so you get the rain, the thunder, the lightning, and then this whoosh of rain. It's almost like one big, you know, almost rear flank downdraft. Or maybe you know, in terms of dissipating thunderstorms, we could be seeing a little.
Yeah, I mean, yes, 100%, and almost kind of a, I can't think of the term off the top of my head.
Well, let me explain dissipating. So just imagine this is a sheet of paper. So what goes up? So the core with the updraft to create hail and that core that races into the upper levels of the atmosphere, 30, 40,000 feet, 50,000 feet, reaching super cooled air, really the energy of this storm. Well, what goes up into the storm eventually has to come down. Can't always stay suspended in that storm, all of that energy. So when it comes down, we call it a dissipating thunderstorm. It can result in a downburst or a microburst, which is basically like one big storm. It's a bad analogy, but sneezing. And as it falls apart and it comes toward the ground, obviously those winds splay out very, very quickly. I have to tell you, it looks like most of those warnings have been allowed to zip away too off to the north.
Yeah, because none of them are particularly being realized at the moment. We have not had a high wind report in northern Minnesota in a while. Couldn't even tell you the exact time frame. It's probably been, well, that Glenwood was at 2:39, and that was actually a bit of a delayed report. So it's probably been almost an hour since we've had a severe thunderstorm wind gust reported across northern and western Minnesota.
So that cluster of warnings that was in place is they were all until 3:30 or 4. They all expired early, like really early.
I don't. Yeah, I mean maybe. Let me.
Anyway, they're they're not on
bizarre.
the data feed right now.
Yeah. Let me just double check.
So let's take you into the Twin Cities here. So we're fully in this now. So downtown Minneapolis to St. Paul, Coon Rapids, all the way down to say Lakeville, Burnsville, Eagan, from Medina and Orono, all the way here now, just off into East St. Paul.
Here's our first severe thunderstorm warning for the metro. So severe thunderstorm warning for Anoka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington counties, as well as Polk and St. Croix counties in Wisconsin till 4 a.m.
So stretching it from the metro
to the northeast.
Across the river.
So I think it's actually that central, that kind of that downtown Minneapolis core. There it goes.
There it is.
Yeah, it's that downtown Minneapolis core storm with all the lightning on it.
Yeah.
That must have pinged something.
Okay, so there's the latest warning. Yeah, that definitely did, right? I'm just going to stop everything. Off to the north. Plenty still going here in Lake Country. Cass crowing until 4 a.m. Morrison and Todd until 3:30 in the morning. That's a convective storm. Lightning trackers still pinging away. Winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. The latest severe thunderstorm warning. I think the warning layer is off on that radar. I'm going to come over and grab that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it turned off.
It's right here.
There's actually a new mesoscale discussion on that particular storm.
Hasn't popped through yet.
Hasn't popped through yet.
So I think what we're going to find in this storm as it moves off to the northeast of the metro is I actually think, Cody.
Oh, I see. Here it is. Let me, I'm going to pop this over to Weather 2, and I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. And it'll walk you through it. So I think the National Weather Service is seeing this. So this is what we call the velocity product. Basically shows you straight line winds in the storm. And when you look at this, and there should be, even for the non-trained eye, there's a glaring exception on what's happening. There's a lot of color that's the same. And then suddenly you get this, and it's basically right over White Bear Lake and the Shoreview area. And it's this little section in here. And I'm going to circle it real fast. Yeah, you just watched it move. So it's that spot right in there. That's indicative of some sort of downburst or maybe microburst that we may be seeing in parts of the north and northeast metro. So 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts, certainly not out of the question. I'm going to query this. It's going to come up as meters per second. And I realize that's a little far-fetched. But basically, a 60 mile an hour wind gust is 26 meters per second. So that's kind of the magic number. So anything above 26, you're going to get a potential severe gust. And so the radar is seeing something significantly higher than that. 33 meters per second is probably close to 75 miles an hour. Again, that's radar indicated, not necessarily reaching the ground. but I think that's what the National Weather Service is seeing and why they issued that severe thunderstorm warning for the central and parts of the northeastern metro. I'll kind of zoom back out, get rid of some of that, and there's your warning.
Yeah, so you've got St. Paul in it, but not Minneapolis.
Yeah, so it's moved on from Minneapolis. It's kind of your core. So we're looking at Shoreview right now, and then towards the White Bear Lake, Lino Lakes area, and then that's all going to shift to the north and east. So heads up, Forest Lake, Hugo, over through Scandia, North St. Paul, maybe Matamidi, Stillwater kind of on the border of that, as that pushes to the northeast over the next 20 or so minutes.
Yeah, Marina and the St. Croix.
Yeah.
That entire area. So east, northeast metro. You are now under the weather gun. You have an official severe thunderstorm warning for the next 36 minutes. And as Cody was pointing out there, a core of very strong winds. Radar indicated, of course, perhaps as high as 75 miles per hour. So, you know, as I always say, I'm going to switch computers here. This is about taking your personal storm plan and putting it into effect. I said this earlier, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. The timing of these storms stinks. But even with that said, they're here, and we have to live with it. Storms here to the north, Cass, Crow Wing, Morris, and Todd counties, all in severe thunderstorm warnings, 3:30 until 4 a.m. When I slide the track here further off to the south, you end up with the latest severe thunderstorm warning, and there's a bunch. It is Anoka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington counties until 4 a.m. That's the line here that you see flashing in yellow. That is the new severe thunderstorm warning, and it is for just a portion here of the northeast metro proper, but extending towards St. Croix Falls, extending up into Washington County and Ramsey County. And this is our first foray just working over the St. Croix into parts of Wisconsin. If there is a chance for these areas down here toward River Falls and Red Wing to also move into parts of Wisconsin, Durand, Pepin, Buffalo counties, also get ready for this line of strong thunderstorms to work off to the northeast. And that's really important here because for the better part of the last 45 minutes, we've been talking about the direction. If you want to figure out the direction, look at how this warning is situated. So it basically fans out. That should give you an idea. As long as this hail core, and I'll tell you, Cody, the blue diamond we see here, folks, that's a hail core that the Doppler has locked onto. That's probably our first hail core of the night so far. Or, no, see, that's me working evenings. It's morning. It's the first hail core of the morning, and as you look at this hail core, and you're saying to yourself, well, where's this thing moving? The hail core involved here, so it is right near Shoreview. I can give you a much better idea by breaking it down, and that's exactly what this fan does. This is 10 minutes, this is 20 minutes, and this is 30 minutes. So in the next 10 minutes, you're through Shoreview. The next 20 minutes, you're toward Hugo. The next 30 minutes, there's Forest Lake. So we're really going to run north of 65, north of 94, and now we're really talking about coming back together. This is the 35 split. So there's 35W, there's 35E. Come back together. There's Forest Lake, the target for the hail core here in the next 30 minutes. Clear all the lines off the map so you get an idea of exactly how everything has been coming together.
There may be a little inflow notch in this, and I think that may be what the Weather Service is seeing.
I'm going to zoom out. So where do you see it?
Just a little, just zoom out, just tilt down a little bit so you don't have to go far. There you go. It's tough to see there. I've got other high-resolution radar pulled up. So basically between downtown Minneapolis and downtown St. Paul, you can kind of see some of your color wane and kind of push off to the north and east. I think we're actually getting a bit of a forward shove with this, and that's indicative of what the velocity product was showing. And so I would say Shoreview, North Oaks, Hugo, eastern Lino Lakes, northern White Bear is probably under the gun for the 60 to 75 mile an hour wind gusts. I'm actually going to just look at our White Bear Lake camera. It is pouring. Not much is moving, which is good. But yeah, I think that's what the Weather Service is seeing. So a little bit of an inflow notch. Basically, what that means is there's some dry air actually filtering on the backside of the storm. It can actually shove some of the rain and some of the gusty winds that stay above our heads actually down to ground level, and that's when you get that 60 to 70 mile an hour potential gust.
Yeah, and this is right here.
Yeah.
Where you see that core. I'm just going to move this while I've still got the slice rolling through the storm. Right where you see this core starting to set up. I'll get back to the slice level here for you, Cody.
Actually, you really see the inflow notch in this image. I'm going to point it out to you on the screen. It's actually over here, right there. So it's pushing that way. So there's.
Oh, you're talking about the shove here.
Yeah, the shove of it forward and kind of infiltrating, dry air infiltrating on the backside of things.
You can actually see where the reflectivity, right where you're talking.
There it is.
So right in between Minneapolis and St. Paul, you can see the reflectivity sort of lifts here, but you can also see there's some mid-level winds coming into this storm. It got a nice lift.
Actually, it looks like a microburst right in there. You see how there's a. Yeah,
this is where it gets troubling. It looks like a whale tail,
that's
right?
very interesting.
It's a suspended core in the middle of nowhere.
I know. Huh.
Well, so there's the back side of that core.
Yeah.
So we're St. Paul. There's 94 stretching Afton Alps. So it does give you an idea of the location. So there is still a decent core there. But yeah, I'm with you, Cody. I get exactly what you're talking about. Okay, so move on. Put the radar back on. This is a pretty decent little line here. What you see flashing yellow there, that's still that severe thunderstorm warning. Hit lightning tracker back on, give you the big picture view, and begin to move you all along this line. Okay, so we have the severe thunderstorm warning in place until, that's now been extended. Cass and Crow Wing is until 4 a.m. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. I'll shift. Becker, Hubbard, Monoman, and Wadena, that's always been in place until 4 a.m. This Cass and Crow Wing also extended now until 4 a.m. Winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Nothing going with hail up there, and the rain is really waning, but the wind, that little stinger jet you've been talking about the better part of the evening, it is absolutely in play for areas off to the north and west of the Twin Cities Metro. The latest for the Twin Cities Metro, Anoka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington counties until 4 a.m. That's the line you see right here tracking and moving back and forth in the flashing yellow. So there it is with lightning tracker going and some decent strong winds. Cody was talking moments ago about winds in excess, radar indicated winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So instead of just looking at the reflectivity, I thought I'd give us a chance to look inside the scope here. So
it's really tough to see on that scope at the moment, but
I mean, look, you've got to push here.
Yeah.
You've got to push here. You know, you end up with this kind of. So let me explain when I'm talking about pushes. So the green shading here on the scope indicates the winds driving off to the northeast. The red are also racing at the same time. They're just recognized differently in terms of the Doppler unit. It's not a great picture.
No, it's not. I think it was there briefly. It may already be gone already. It just didn't take long. And I'm looking for wind reports. And granted, a lot of the times when we get wind reports, they're delayed by a few minutes. Yeah. I haven't seen anything over 30, which is good. Certainly not a bad thing.
How about these two areas I'm starting to circle here? How quickly, and you pointed this out so perfectly when you were like, these things are just going to hit and then they're going to move on. 10 minutes of big booming thunder and lightning and very heavy rain. Well, look. Suddenly it's gone when you look into parts of Hennepin and Wright County and even edging up towards Sherburne County.
Yeah,
suddenly it's gone in the
though,
Southwest Metro.
So the area of thunderstorms around Hutchinson is all developed in the last 30 minutes. It's kind of redeveloping behind itself.
Well,
I don't know, just kind of bizarre.
We had three things earlier. We had a very weak trough extending from the low in the Dakotas.
Yeah.
We had an incredible sharp dry line that went from the Canadian border in North Dakota all the way into the Texas Panhandle. I've seen that maybe 3 times in my life living in the upper Midwest.
Yeah.
One continuous dry line. And folks, that would be the delineation, if you will, between that hot, humid air mass, that soupy air mass we had in play earlier today, dew points in the 60s and 70s, Back on the other side of that line, back into the Dakotas, dew points were in the 30s and 40s. So very, very dry air. That can be a really good focus point. If that dry line were to shift this far to the east, it didn't. That's why Cody and I are kind of reasoning as we're working through with you. So the severe thunderstorm warning in Oka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington counties. Winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Small hail possible. No big hail reports yet, but the winds will continue to race here along this frontal portion of this whole line as it lifts. The track of the storm is here, out to the northeast, and earlier these storms were racing to the northeast at around 38 miles per hour. Those are the forward speeds. So if this storm were a car, it'd be driving off to the northeast at around 38 miles per hour. That's fast moving storm with winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Thunder and lightning probably waking you up, rocking you out of bed. At some point, your Fox 9 weather app probably zapped on the phone, especially if you're in the Northeast Metro with those new severe thunderstorm warnings. That's why we're on the air. We're here to walk you through these storms and help you stay sky aware. I got to be honest with you. I think that second lobe that's in Hutchinson wants to swing on through the Southwest Metro.
I also agree with that, and I was actually just looking at kind of where that came from. There seems to be, so the first line of storms, it kind of appears to kind of outrun the front, or basically what was sparking it. And so there's actually more behind it, just off to the west and southwest, that's going to try to get more stuff going. And so there may be some version of a secondary round or a second line that tries to go through the metro and parts of eastern Minnesota. We'll see if it can actually get going, because these kind of situations really are very much an overnight thing once the sun comes up. So as we get towards 5 and 5:30, these things generally relax and just aren't around anymore. So we got a couple of hours to kind of wiggle with some maybe thunderstorm activity here in the metro.
So you're telling me I'm not getting to bed soon. Look to the northwest.
You get
here.
to stay up all night, and you get to stay up all night.
Yes, it reminds me of being 20 again. Look, from Bemidji all the way down to Brainerd, this line has gone on like a regeneration, Cody. It fell apart.
Yeah.
And now it's starting to build. The convective nature with lightning tracker again beginning to build. Severe thunderstorm warning for Becker, Hubbard, Monoman, and Wadena, Cass, and Crow Wing. All of these counties here flashing yellow, all in severe thunderstorm warnings until 4 a.m. Let me slide you down the line. The line's falling apart in parts of Stearns County, even into parts of Candy, Ojai County, Meeker, McLeod County, falling apart. Parts of Sibley County, it is there. But here's the latest severe thunderstorm warning for the metro. And really, when you look at this one, it extends not from Minneapolis, but from St. Paul here off to the north and to the northeast. So from Minneapolis, you've got these drizzly, rumbling showers. For St. Paul areas toward Lino Lakes and Stillwater, this is booming, heavy rain. Winds in excess of 50 miles per hour possible. And even as you look at this severe thunderstorm warning and I slide you, notice how far north it's gone. When we were talking about 10 minutes ago, Forest Lake, you weren't in the storm. Forest Lake, you are in the storm. Osceola, Scandia, you weren't in the storm. You are almost there right now as this storm is racing to the northeast at around 40 miles per hour with winds in excess of 60. Go.
I just figured out why we're getting some redevelopment behind this. So it's all, so you know, the line that this all stems from a huge line of storms out of the Dakotas and Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Well, it actually, the southern and southeastern edge of this, so the stuff that's rolled through the metro now, actually got popped out ahead of it. Well, what's left of the line, that's what's pushing through Hutchinson. It's basically turned into more or less a low-level cold front. And so it's a convergence boundary that's actually popping some more storms behind the first line. It's bonkers.
So is it a meso low that would like a wake low coming across the metro?
It's trying to become a wake low. I'm not sure it's actually going to get that done because there's just so much.
It's so muddy.
It's like the big muddy. It's the Mississippi.
It's sloppy. I'll say
Yes.
that. That severe thunderstorm warning, though, still up for Anoka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington. Winds 60 miles per hour plus. 1 inch size hail possible. Vivid thunder, lightning so loud you've been rocked out of bed. That's why we're on the air. So that's really St. Paul all the way to the north end of the northeast. By the way, that's the way the storm's tracking. Here, off to the northeast. Then you slide back over Andover, back up toward Baldwin. You're going to take 10 up toward Sartell and St. Cloud. And you're like, well, there isn't much going here. That area that Cody's talking about, it's back here, down toward Hutchinson, stretching back up almost into southern Stearns County, over into parts of Wright County, and then down toward Waconia, and even parts of Sibley County right now. You look toward Winthrop, and then bouncing back up toward Belle Plaine. You know, Belle Plaine's already had it once. Belle Plaine, I think, is going to get it again, along with that portion of the Minnesota River Valley. Is that lobe in parts of McLeod County is trying to slide on around and through. It is a busy morning, almost at night again. Busy morning here as we continue to monitor everything. I want to zoom out though. And so look, severe thunderstorm warning, Anoka, Chisago, Ramsey, and Washington County. I want to take you a little further off to the northwest, from Bemidji all the way down to Brainerd. There's the line that's starting to almost recharge itself. And those warnings are valid. You know, Cody, look at the map right now. So you've got the initial line right here. That is still really in and of itself, still going strong. Then you catch the initial line that's come through the metro and kind of begins to drop off. You got this little warning in the northeast metro. This is the area here where you're kind of looking, well, is there a little meso low?
I think so. And I think it's actually in that you can actually kind of see it in that cluster of showers in far western Minnesota. So look southwest of Brainerd.
Yep.
Not over there. Yep.
Yep.
You can kind of see the spin a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why we get that gap here in parts of central Stearns County. A little dry air return on the backside.
Yeah, I think so.
That'll be interesting. So we're going to rock in the metro here for the better part of the next half hour with those severe thunderstorm warning in place for Anoka, Washington, Ramsey counties until 4 a.m. So we're not quite finished yet. I'm I got to get a drink of water. My body's used to sleeping at this time.
I don't know what you're talking about. We don't sleep. Well, I don't sleep on my shift. Well, let's be honest.
This is usually when I am asleep.
Yeah. So basically, we have the one severe thunderstorm warning for sections of Chisago, Polk, St. Croix, and Washington County. Basically includes now, they've trimmed it back, so it's essentially a line from about Hugo, Stillwater, Forest Lake, northeastward towards Osceola, Wisconsin, Chisago City, Star Prairie, Scandia, all kind of involved in this. St. Croix Falls is just on the outer edge, the eastern and northeastern edge of this particular warning at the moment. Then we have the severe thunderstorm warnings across portions of northern Minnesota. Includes basically the Cross Lake area, Brainerd Lakes area, now getting that line to kind of push its way through. It does not look like much on radar, but there have been some really gusty winds with this as it's pushed its way through. What are you doing over there?
I'm
just toying with things?
No, just hang on. I want to show the tower camera so we can give you an idea. I'm just going to show you the front gate here.
There you go.
Fox 9, Cody.
That's perfect.
Here, I wanted to find Cam 26.
Yeah, let me pull it up for you. See, this is why you stay at the wall and I do this stuff.
Just got a note from my friend Sarah Barton. Said, thank you. I woke up to you just before our 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Baldwin. And that's what I was saying all night. You know, if you get a little nervous and you wake up, just roll over and tune is on. Oh, here, let me get off.
Here, let me go to Weather 2 while you fix that.
All right.
Because here's Weather 2 is going to have Cam 26 for you. Well, I thought it was.
Oh.
We're both failing.
Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah, guess not. It's coming. Here we go. Let's
again. And I you know what? It's Cody and I and Donna.
There you go.
And Donna's in master control, and she's amazing. So 3 of us in the station tonight. We're finding new buttons to push that give us different displays, and it's.
Wait, we have new buttons?
Oh yeah. Well, I wasn't supposed to tell you.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. There's a live look from our Eden Prairie Tower camera. That's where our station is, and you're looking across 494.
494, yeah.
So they're looking across south 494. There's the world headquarters of Cambria. So Eden Prairie looking off to the south. It was flashing real good a couple of seconds ago.
It was. Now it's not. You want me to put you back to radar?
Best in the business.
There you go.
3 severe thunderstorm warnings to the north, including Cabin Country Metro, with a severe thunderstorm warning here north and east of the Twin Cities Metro. This is this severe thunderstorm warning right here. It will edge itself off to the northeast. In other words, the warning is going to shrink back. It already has. St. Paul was in this warning. That has been allowed to expire. So St. Paul, you're not in the warning anymore. This edge here, this leading edge, notice how it comes through the metro. It kind of leaves this mud and this murk behind. It is less red. It is more blue. These are scattered drizzly showers. Still a little thunder and lightning around inside the 494, 694 loop. That's the latest severe thunderstorm warning, though, that is off to the northeast. So it is out of the metro proper and now really generally from Stillwater off to the north and to the northeast, about to cross most of the St. Croix and most of 35. Becker, Clearwater, Hubbard, and Wadena, Cass, Crow Wing counties, all in severe thunderstorm warning still until 4 a.m. There you see the storms from Brainerd stretching off to the north. They will continue to be valid for winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. There's the severe thunderstorm warning now for parts of Chisago, Polk, St. Croix, and Washington. So interesting here that we're not concentrating so much on Ramsey. Ramsey is out of the severe thunderstorm warning. Now we're talking about Polk and St. Croix. So we're pushing across the border. Go ahead, Cody.
Just getting a couple of new reports. A couple of these are delayed. One of them is actually from Anoka County Airport, so Blaine Airport, 40 miles an hour. That was a bit ago. And getting a new report, 45-mile-an-hour wind gust in Wyoming, but have not seen anything officially of a 58 or plus in that severe thunderstorm warning, which is good, but certainly still getting 45-plusers in some cases.
Yeah, so I mean, you start to look at this, and this is a new layer we're working with here, trying to find the most intense part of the storm and with the warnings. And I mentioned that here in the loop, this is more about drizzly rain and an occasional lightning and an occasional boom. Interesting information from Cody. Oh, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that just popped just off here to the north of the metro. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But interesting from Cody saying, look, the severe thunderstorm warning was there, northeast metro, but it didn't validate. How about this here, Cody? We have one of the largest group of severe thunderstorm warnings we have seen in a while.
Huge.
So this is the latest severe thunderstorm warning. And I think what we're seeing here is the Weather Service saying, these storms have now, and this is really great because this is what Cody was talking about 10 minutes ago. See how these storms are separating, Cody?
Yeah.
You've got two lines.
Yeah.
This line that's left behind all along 94, forget about it. Fading. This new line here that is starting to work out in front, that's why we have the latest in these severe thunderstorm warnings for Aiken, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties. These new severe thunderstorm warnings are saying, look, this line is still valid and intense and still possible for wind gusts of 60 plus miles per hour. Now we're talking well north of the metro.
Yeah, for sure. And to be fair, I haven't actually seen any severe wind reports from there. I've seen a couple of 40-mile-an-hour gusts. There was one not too long ago northwest of Malacca reported at 41. There have been a couple across northwestern Minnesota. Park Rapids recorded a 41-mile-an-hour wind gust. So I haven't seen anything kind of realized yet, but it's just kind of one of those situations where it's coming off of hundreds of miles of 60 to 80 plus mile-an-hour wind gusts, and so you give it its space and you say, you know what, this could still harbor some of this.
Yeah, no, and it's exactly, it's like the bully in the schoolyard. You're like,
Yeah, you give it a wide berth.
yeah, I'm not going to go to the monkey bars. Are you going to
Yeah.
the monkey bars? No, I'm not going to the monkey bars. Severe thunderstorm warning there for, this is now out of what you would call the Twin Cities proper. Outside the Twin Cities, sure, these are the outer ring suburbs off to the north and to the northeast for Chisago, Polk, St. Croix, and Washington counties until 4 a.m. There you see this little tiny sliver of a severe thunderstorm warning for the possibility of winds 60 plus miles per hour. It is the latest warnings that have begun to pop here off to the north. There, see, so this is 35 north of the metro, Pine City into Mission Creek, Sandstone. Now you're starting to move closer and closer to Duluth. But as you stretch to the west side of 35, here's where we talk about the severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine County. Now I'm going to take you, so I just talked about Sarah Barton in Baldwin. So there you've got Mille Lacs, and you start to stretch down here, Baldwin just north of the metro. There's Page and Onamia all along 169. There is plenty going on as this storm, this line of storms has ostensibly re-engaged, if you will. I mean, it's kind of like Top Gun, where you say Maverick is re-engaging.
It's funny that you went to Top Gun and I went to Star Trek.
Oh, what's the Star Trek line?
Engage.
Yeah, so that's
Patrick Stewart.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Indeed.
Engage. Okay, nerdo.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go. There's the line. So Bemidji, you're not there yet. Brainerd, you've been in the storm the better part of an hour. There's the line. There's the severe thunderstorm warning for Becker, Clearwater, Hubbard, and Wadena. The latest severe thunderstorm warning then stretches over to Cass and Crow Wing. And now, as we move you over, you start to straddle 35 for Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties. These storms are re-energized and they are racing here. They're tracking off to the northeast. Earlier tracks were 30 to 40 miles per hour. We are still there. But once you move down toward the metro, and how about this? Cody, we've been on the air for over an hour because talked to Donna in Master Control. I said, let's get on at 44.
Yeah.
And so now that's an hour and 5 minutes ago.
If anyone's counting.
Well, I'm counting because every minute with you is a minute less sleep.
Wow.
But listen, man,
Sure. Yeah, that hurts.
Well, you have to understand how valuable that is on my wheel. I'm 60 years old.
Is that it?
Oh, my God. Okay. Metro proper. Areas off to the west. None of that is severe. Still with a boom of thunder. Still with a flash of lightning. It is becoming less and less numerous. The rain will continue, although not that blinding heavy rain that rolled through about an hour ago. That's done. Now this line is reformed. We're out of Dakota County. We're now working into parts of Goodhue County. We are now across the Mississippi. We're now across parts of the St. Croix and then bending back and crossing I-35. This is a storm that came ripping through the metro without any warnings. We decided we needed to be on the air. It's a promise we've had for 20 years, and it was important for us to be here.
I just did want to point out, not that a lot of folks can see us when they have power out, but it does appear like statewide, so state of Minnesota, 67,000 customers without power at the moment.
Really?
Indeed.
Wow. Well, you talk about winds at 60, 70 miles per hour. There are going to be trees down, fully leaf trees on power lines in parts of the region. This is winding down for some areas. So here, all along 94, winding down. Rain showers, occasional thunder and lightning. Winding down west and southwest of the Twin Cities metro. Rain showers still heavy at times, parts of southern Hennepin County, stretching all the way down into McLeod County, Carver and Scott County. Nothing severe, less and less thunder and lightning. It is now that we get northeast of the Twin Cities with this low bending all the way back down into parts of Goodhue County and stretching off to the north. That line of thunderstorms here from Brainerd stretching just off to the south of Bemidji and then all the way down past the 35W split north of the metro. Look how far in advance of these storms the severe thunderstorm warnings are. Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, Pine, Cass, and Crow Wing all until 4 and 4:45 a.m. I mean, Cody, these storms you can't even see some of the counties they're warned for yet.
Yeah. They so you're looking at a little bit of inside baseball. So you're switching forecasting offices. So the Duluth National Weather Service are the ones that issued these severe thunderstorm warnings. The National Weather Service out of Chanhassen would be issuing ones for the counties south of these warnings. And so you're just changing hands and kind of changing perspective on some of these lines, especially since it's getting north of the metro and you're getting into some areas that really can get damage with not as strong of winds, just because you have a lot more trees and a lot more above ground power. I did want to mention though, so parts of western Minnesota specifically, roughly 30% of customers in Stevens County and Douglas County are without power at the moment. That's in western part of the state with where we had the 60 and 70 mile an hour wind gusts,
Right
60 to 75 really. But also interesting to note, even though I haven't seen any significant wind gusts over 45 reported, Ramsey County actually reporting 31,000 customers without power.
For reals?
Yeah. So I don't know if maybe it's some storms that kind of missed things. Maybe it hit a transformer and it's just kind of a weird scenario.
Yeah.
But there are quite a few customers in Ramsey County without power right now.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, one substation.
Yeah, it's all it takes.
Catches a big gust of wind, and suddenly, you get those outages. And we've said this for a few years too. If you know somebody and they're like calling you on their phone, we're out of power, what's going on with the storms? Fox 9 Weather app, it is free. And every time we say that, I always think that people are like, oh, he's pushing something, he's got something from that. We get nothing.
We don't get anything.
No, it is.
Nothing.
It is. And it's the same radar we use here on the air, same warnings
it's
that
great.
we show you here on the air. Everything is there for you, including the storm tracks. And you can watch us live on the app. So without power, that's fine. As long as you've got a cell signal, you can actually, right here, whatever is live, you can watch on the Fox 9 Weather app. Something to keep in mind if power is waning where you are, or you just you're somebody who's calling somebody saying, hey, do you have power? You don't? Oh, I was just watching Ian and Cody, and they said you should get on the Fox 9 Weather app, and you can still stay ahead of the storm here and stay sky aware. I'm a little flummoxed, if you will, by that severe thunderstorm warning staying valid until 4 p.m. for Chisago, Polk, St. Croix, and Washington counties. I mean,
yeah, I think it's outrun. I would assume they're just letting it
run out.
Yeah, they're just going to let it expire.
Yeah. So let me do this. For the Twin Cities Metro, in terms of severe weather, and that's the interesting point here. For the Twin Cities Metro, in terms of severe weather, we're pretty much all clear. For areas here off to the north of the Twin Cities Metro into Aiken, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties until 4:45 a.m., severe thunderstorm warning, severe weather yet to be realized in your locations. Here, stretching off from Mille Lacs all the way to Bemidji, Becker, Clearwater, Hubbard, Wadena, Cass, and Crow Wing counties in severe thunderstorm warnings until 4 a.m. You are in the heart of the severe thunderstorm warnings, and now you're looking here toward the lake. You're like, wait a minute, we're going to go from the yellow into the gray. Where are you going with the gray? The gray is a dense fog advisory for either side of the lake. Adding insult to injury, you've got fog developing and building right here, and strong and severe weather storms tracking off to the north, tracking up 35 here toward that dense fog advisory.
Yeah,
there's an awful lot going on. What's going on with those?
Getting a report from Crow Wing counties, 51 mile an hour wind gusts. So northern Minnesota, that's just outside of Merrifield.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's where the fires were 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So Merrifield's on Pelican Lake.
Yes.
Well, we just heard a big rumble of thunder
That
here.
was a big lightning strike.
What was the Merrifield gust?
51.
51. So my friend John Lundquist, 51 mile per hour just outside Merrifield. My dear friend who has a great cabin up there that the Leonards like to visit a couple of times this summer. It's interesting when you catch a little town like that and you know exactly where it is.
Yeah, true.
Okay. Cass, Crow Wing counties, 4 a.m. We're going to expire that in 3 minutes. Aiken, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties, that's this cluster right here. That's not going to expire until 4:45 a.m. The greatest threat here is going to be winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. That is it. We have yet to pick up any decent hail reports. Don't think that I'm asking for those to get better. I'm beyond ecstatic that we didn't realize large hail, because on the chart, Cody and I talked all day today on the charts, on the forecast model soundings, talking about how the atmosphere is setting up at different levels. Most of those were looking toward hail with the possibility of hail between 2 and 3 inch in diameter. We didn't realize that, and I'm happy. You know who else is happy? My car.
Yes. Everybody's car.
Hands up if you had a car totaled in the Fox parking lot all those years ago.
Yeah,
during severe
you won't
weather.
let that down, will you?
It scarred me for life.
Yeah, that was an interesting day. Certainly more active than it is now. So I guess that's indicative of things are relatively quiet, especially in the Twin Cities metro, but still have those warnings top side of your screen. Parts of Aiken, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine County through 445. Again, not really realizing necessarily the severe gusts, at least not officially. But doesn't mean you can't get a quick 60-mile-an-hour gust in some of these spots. Same story north of the metro, especially Pine County northward over towards St. Croix County, Wisconsin. And then just waiting for that severe thunderstorm warning, what's left of it in Chisago, Polk, St. Croix, and Washington County to expire at the top of the hour. Have gotten a couple of texts from some folks in Shoreview that they are without power. Of course, that's kind of the Ramsey County area. We talked about that earlier. There seems to be a large electric outage, at least 10% of Ramsey County without power at the moment. Really unclear why. I'm assuming it's gusty winds, but just have not seen anything what I would classify as significant, and certainly not severe. Doesn't mean it didn't occur. Could be in between some of our stations that we report wind gusts. But a lot of times in these scenarios, if we get some stronger wind gusts, it usually hits a station just because they're usually far more broad. But admittedly, remember when we kind of saw that what appeared to be kind of a microburst on radar?
Yeah.
It could have been a microburst. Or could have been that, which is
And that was Ramsey.
That was Ramsey, yeah.
Yeah. No, and you pointed that out. That was perfect when you were showing that with the depiction on radar. So, and we talked about this earlier. Let me talk about it one more time. So, the easiest way is to give you sort of a side view of the atmosphere. Now, I'm only using this for illustrative purposes. We're not talking about these storms. I mean, these storms are low topped right now, anywhere between 10 and 15,000 feet tops. They're in the waning phases across the metro. But look, when we talk about storms, and you get this vertical movement in the atmosphere, so there's an incredible updraft, an upward vertical velocity. And as that happens, it creates a suspension effect. It doesn't allow the smallest hailstones to fall. And as it grows, it taps into the supercooled air at 30, 40, 50,000 feet. That is raw, unhindered fuel for these massive supercell thunderstorms. But everything that goes up, I mean, it's an old adage, right? Everything that goes up has to come down. So everything that's been suspended with the energy of these storms, once a thunderstorm begins to dissipate, it becomes very dangerous. It moves down and then hits the ground and fans out with its winds. And that's really what we're talking about for at least a portion of Ramsey County. I'm going to step off. I might have to sneeze here in a minute. But that's what Cody's talking about.
Come on, we want to see your sneeze.
Yeah. So you end up with this energy in the storm. It's suspended for hours at a time. The overall fuel, the dynamics of the storm begin to kind of wane. And it's like building a house of cards. It's all going to come down. When it does come down, it hits the ground. It can't go into the ground, so it begins to fan out and fan out at 50, 60, 70 miles per hour. That's where you get that energy that Cody was talking about, or at least the possible, and at least the possible causative effect, if you will, for the large number of power outages right now in parts of Ramsey County. This gives you a great idea. Look how this storm is split apart.
Yeah, and it's that second frontal boundary. Actually, is just absolutely pouring in the station again. With that secondary, line is a stretch.
Low.
But yeah, pushing into parts of Hennepin County at the moment. And it appears like it does. It may actually have a gust front with it. So there may be all of a sudden a quick burst of 30 or 35 or 40 mile an hour gusts. You hear the trees moving again with some heavy downpours and some lightning strikes and some thunder with this as well.
This is where we were talking earlier, that the models from this afternoon were representing over an inch of rain.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that on the news, and you get eye rolls from people. They're like, More rain.
That reminds me, I'm going to look at some rainfall totals here.
There are parts of the state that still do need rain. And
There are
you know,
many
I got
parts of the state that need rain.
Huh?
There are many parts of the state
yeah,
that need rain.
but there are also parts of the state have been inundated with rain in the last week.
Welcome to summer.
And I'm getting emails from everybody.
I'm sure.
We need the rain. Don't say we don't want rain, or we've got too much rain. To which my reply, and I don't send this, but I would love to, is like, I don't control it.
Yeah. See, and you don't want us to control it because then, Ian, it would be, somehow it'd be 97 degrees all year round.
Too hot.
Oh.
79.
Okay. I can live with that.
For you, it would be 3 feet of snow and 26 degrees.
Yes, in the middle of July. You're right.
We are weather weirdos. Severe thunderstorm warning still in place. This is the one that we were talking about as this line right here continues to advance off to the northeast. Forward speed between 30-40 miles per hour. This is a decent defined line, finding the strongest winds most likely along and right before that rainfall begins. Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties. That severe thunderstorm warning, you see it flashing here. Those are in place until 4:45. For the metro, heavy rain has returned. That final little lobe here is tucking in out of the west. That will eventually swing up here into parts of Wisconsin, the St. Croix River Valley. These areas of rain right here seem to be more stratiform in the look here, Cody. When you look, you don't find any cores.
No.
It's just one big wash of rain right here. So these will be very gentle but long-lasting showers. The latest drought monitor that came out last Thursday, it was here. It was this entire area off to the north. That was in a moderate drought. So this line of storms, look, you want rain, you don't want the storms. You want rain, you don't want storms with winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Nonetheless, storms you get along with some much needed rain. So severe thunderstorm warning still out for Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties here as this line continues to move to the north. The heavy rains tucking in here to the backside of these storms, working through the metro. I have to do it, Cody. I'm going to move down and show you because there's this one little new meso signature. Boom.
Oh.
Parts of Wright County. Let's explain what that means. So when Doppler scans the atmosphere, you see the beam going around right now. It has 5 separate scans before it sits down and does the exact same rotation again with 5 different scans. Because it kicks up every scan, it's looking at the entirety, or at least the entirety of this region of the atmosphere. As it scans, it's also looking for what we call shear. And shear is winds at different heights moving in different directions. When you end up with wind at heights at different directions, it can create a degree of spin in the atmosphere. And that's what that box represents. And I'm kind of floored that we're seeing that on the back side of all of this. And what are like some, run-of-the-mill showers post-thunderstorm. Nonetheless, it's there. I'm not going to focus too much on it. That's what it is, the mesocyclone signature right there. And it really is all about moving this line, if you will, here out to the north and out to the northeast. It's taking the same track as that line of serious and severe thunderstorms that are off to the north. There is 10 minutes. There is 20 minutes and there is 30 minutes. So really shooting the gap here between Buffalo and Orono. My friend Alex in Orono, the man who really cries when he doesn't get a storm. And I love him to death. Yeah, you're getting a doozy in Orono, in Maple Grove.
Oh, yeah, you're getting doozy.
In Buffalo, stretching all the way back down now into downtown Minneapolis. Yeah, the heavy rain is there and it is going to stay there the better part of the next 30 minutes. I'd take you all the way to 4:30 in the morning. What am I doing?
Yeah, why are you still here?
I am.
Go home, dude.
You know what? I'm keeping a promise I made 21 years ago. We're always going to be the first on. We're going to be the last off. And even if the storms aren't severe, we're gonna literally like hold everyone's hand and walk everybody through the storm. Make sure that we keep everybody sky aware no matter where they are. And it's a promise that
Still have those severe thunderstorm warnings for parts of northern Minnesota, which include several counties just off to the north. As I can kind of move the radar here a little bit as Ian works on that. And we'll zoom out a little bit and give you a little bit of a tour. There's your severe thunderstorm warnings currently with that line of storms north of Mora, Grantsburg, over through Pine County, Pine City included in that as well. Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine County. That will take us through 4:45. So about the next 40 minutes, a little over that as that kind of rolls towards the Lake Superior neck of the woods. The good news with all of this is that that's pushing off to the north and east. Haven't realized a lot of severe gusts, at least not officially. So this may be more of kind of a rain event here in the metro over the next hour or two. We'll rain things out. We'll be quiet for a while, and then we'll have to watch potential for more storms later on today.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Cody. We call it you'll hear Cody and I call it the recharge of the atmosphere. So the atmosphere holds infinite amounts of energy. When storms come through, that energy is almost wrung out. It's like the end of a game for a basketball player, a hockey player, a soccer player, or a track and field athlete. The end of the game, the end of the competition, you're exhausted. That's what's happened here over the last couple of hours with the atmosphere. It is exhausted. We've used the energy. Now, with that said, as we work into sunrise and beyond, we pick up the heat again, we pick up the humidity. High temperatures into the upper 80s, touching 90. Dew points possibly stretching again into the upper 60s, into the low 70s. So another hot, humid day. That air mass sits in place. You need, this is like showing up when you were a kid. Well, everybody went and bought fireworks, right? And you show up and you put your fireworks in the middle and you're like, this is going to be great. Who's got a match? That's what we're looking for later today. Where is or what is going to be the match, and what time will that match get struck? And if it's struck at a certain hour, will the atmosphere have recharged? Will the atmosphere have enough energy again saved up so that those storms explode, if you will, almost like firecrackers? And there are a couple of times to talk about. One would be late morning through about 1 o'clock this afternoon. The second would be 4 to about 7 p.m. All of that does include the Twin Cities metro. So it is a day to stay sky aware. And if you thought the overnight storms were a little ill-timed, just wait until we talk about the possibilities late morning. I mean, and Cody, you know this, I think I told you this. Looking at the charts and looking at the forecast soundings last night into this morning through about 11 a.m., the forecast models will spit out certain parameters, certain mathematical algorithms and indices all come to bear. And around 11 a.m. to 1, there was a marginal threat of tornadoes. And I said to my wife, I don't think in 20 years I've seen that mid-morning.
Yeah, it is kind of bizarre.
Really bizarre. And that doesn't mean it's going to be realized. Like I said, it's like you and your buddies getting together with fireworks and nobody's got a match. These are all definitive possibilities.
Just do us all a favor, don't light a match.
I threw away the matches.
Okay, good.
Because I'm not going to have a voice.
That is also true.
My wife's like, yes. All right, let's move you off to the north. Obviously here you look at the metro, no severe thunderstorm warnings, no severe thunderstorms, rumbles rolling through, lightning tracker not even there, but look, you get to the north here. So Aitkin, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties, those are the counties that you see illuminated here. So from aisle 169, you get to the north of Mille Lacs, you begin to bend all the way around back toward Moose Lake, back here almost to Solon Springs. Hayward down towards Shell Lake. So now we're working to parts of northwest Wisconsin, straddling I-35. There's I-35. This line right here will continue to advance off to the north. It's going to be active over the next few hours for areas to the north. This is where we had the greatest activity earlier. Cody, the interesting point that you made is down toward Grant, Stevens, Pope and Douglas counties. That's right there. Those four very symmetrical counties.
Yeah.
Still some 60-some thousand people without power at last check.
In the state.
Okay, that's statewide.
That's statewide.
Okay.
So those counties had the highest percentage. About 35% of those counties were without power at that point.
Okay. So now stretch back all the way toward the metro. How about this, Cody?
Yeah.
Look at this line that's starting here to work along the Minnesota River Valley down toward Mankato. As if Mankato and this whole area around 169, St. Peter, Jordan stretching into Shakopee, as if they didn't have enough. Well, look at that. Let's kick another storm.
Yeah, why not? I mean, let's do it. Let's have a party. I mean, it's not a party anyone wanted, but
I want to go home.
well, you can. So here are my thoughts.
I'm just saying it to tease you. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean,
I think at this point I'm going to surmise your thoughts, and you're not even saying them.
Yep.
At this point,
Read my brain.
At this point, we're talking about rumbling rainers. We're not talking about severe weather. We're 4:13. We've been on the air for almost an hour and a half. We have been on the air during the harshest part of the storm, including the warning that was out for the Northeast Metro. The warnings are now well off to the north. We're getting closer and closer to most people beginning to at least start to wake up. Am I surmising perfectly for you here that,
Yes.
that this is, we can bow out?
Yes.
We can say we were here to keep you sky aware. We all gathered our hands, we held hands together and worked through the storm. And I will tell you this, I'm going to bed. Cody's going to stay here. Jared will be joining him at 6 a.m. Then we'll start to work through the day. That does bring yet another threat of severe weather, mid to late morning and again mid to late afternoon. So this is the time of year we find ourselves in. At this point, the metro is thunder and lightning and rain and nothing severe. Yes?
Yes. That's great.
Did I say it all?
You said it all, and although the one thing you missed, the Fox 9 Morning News starts in 15 minutes.
Is that what time it starts?
Well, yeah.
Huh.
The first time you've ever seen 4:30 in the morning? Maybe don't answer that.
On advice from counsel, I decline comment. So yeah, these storms will continue to race to the north. Severe thunderstorm warning still valid until 4:45 for Aiken, Burnett, Crow Wing, and Pine counties. For the greater Twin Cities metro, it is thunder, lightning, and some blinding heavy rain at times at this point. And for the last almost 25 minutes, we have not had severe thunderstorm warnings valid for the metro. This is one of those nights where, early morning night for me, where the news starts in less than 15 minutes. Cody's here. He's got you the better part of the morning, along with Jared showing up at 6 a.m. We've got you covered. So listen, on behalf of Cody, Matz, and myself, and everybody behind the scenes, one person, Donna. Fabulous job, Donna and Danny, earlier tonight in Master Control. So really 4 people doing the work of an entire television station to make sure that you could stay sky aware. This has been an honor to be here with you tonight. For now, it's time for me for bed. It's time for the Fox 9 Morning News to start in 15 minutes. We'll give you a quick break. We'll send you back to live programming. But for now, please stay sky aware both now and multiple points through the coming day. Have a wonderful, what day is it? Wednesday. Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Have a wonderful Wednesday. Back to live programming you go. Got it.